Welcome to Growing Chatham, North Carolina Cooperative Extension, Chatham County Center's June 2023 podcast. I'm Tiffany Hancock. To access the Growing Chatham newsletter, just visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 623. In June, we celebrate dads. I've invited my dad, Johnny Wilson, to join me today. Hey, Dad. Welcome.
Hey, Tiff.
So, Dad, what do you want for Father's Day?
At my age, I just want it to be a happy day and healthy.
I want that for you too, Dad. What if I just take you fishing for Father's Day?
I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go too. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait. So if we have to wait, why not wait with the Growing Chatham podcast? Let's get started and find out what's happening at the Chatham County Center. Say hello to Growing Up Chatham, a fresh new series from North Carolina Cooperative Extension, Chatham County Center. Join us on this exciting new journey as we chat with special guests from the community, local government, and businesses. We will delve into various topics related to Chatham County in this engaging new series. Our debut episode features former 4-H agent Connie McAdams, who served in the role from 1976 to 1979. We can't wait to catch up and hear what she's been up to since leaving Extension in 1979. You can catch the Growing Up Chatham on YouTube as a video, or you can listen to it as a podcast. You can find that in the Growing Chatham newsletter by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 623. Here are some general updates from the Chatham County Center. We'd like to wish all fathers a happy Father's Day, so don't forget your dad on Sunday, June 18th, 2023. Our office will be closed for Juneteenth on Monday, June 19th. We will reopen on June 20th at 8 a.m. We have an exciting job opportunity here at the Chatham County Center. Are you looking for a new role? The Chatham County Center for North Carolina Cooperative Extension is currently seeking applicants for the position of Extension Program Assistant Associate 4-H. For more information, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link. Meet our summer intern, Sarah Sessoms. Sarah grew up in Pittsburgh and graduated from Northwood High School in 2019. Sarah has a special connection to the Chatham County Center, and she's going to tell you more about that.
My name is Sarah Sessoms. I graduated about 3 weeks ago from North Carolina State University. My degree is in animal science, and I minored in nonprofit studies and zoology. I'm a Pittsburgh native. I've lived in Pittsburgh my whole life. I went to Pittsburgh Elementary School, Horton Middle, and then graduated Northwood High School in 2019. So I grew up working with Extension. I've been a 4-H'er since I was probably 6 years old. I went to most of the 4-H camps around here. And then I believe I was 15 when I started as a counselor with 4-H Junior Chef Camp. So I've been here a while, and it's so fun to come back here, being a 4-H alumni and just seeing how some things have changed, some things haven't. I've been on the pre-vet track throughout my entire time at NC State, and I'm applying to vet school this summer, but I honestly am not sure that's really where I want to go. I'm still very interested in it. I love working with animals and animal science, and NC State was definitely my home. But I love education. I've fallen in love with education this past year, and I've always loved community outreach and community service. So I'm very excited to put all this together this summer and learn something new with Chatham County. It's nice to be back.
And we're glad to have you back, Sarah. Speaking of 4-H, let's find out what is happening at 4-H. The Betsy Jeff Penn 4-H Center is featured in the May 2023 issue of Our State magazine, and you don't want to miss it. The 2023 feature article, Where the Wild Campers Are in Our State magazine. The article features the Betsy Jeff Penn 4-H Center with writing from journalist Jerry Rowe and photos from award-winning photographers Jerry Wolford and Scott Mothersbaugh. Also featured are campers from Chatham County. This is a must-read. You can access that link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. 4-H Embryology program concludes in local classrooms. Chatham County 4-H just wrapped up its annual embryology program in local schools across the county for spring 2023. The 4-H embryology program teaches youth about development life cycle of a chicken through a hands-on experiential learning model, which begins with the sourcing fertilized eggs through local heritage breed poultry producers. We had wonderful hatches this spring with eggs sourced from Stauber Farms and our 4-H crew, who is extremely grateful for the participating educators and students who took part in this school enrichment program this year. Hurry, hurry, a few spaces still remain in our lineup of 4-H summer camps for 2023. Camps are filling up fast, but a few spaces still remain. Due to the generous support of the United Way of Chatham County, need-based scholarships are available to qualifying families to assist with camp registration costs. Inquire with 4-H staff for more information. We hope to see you this summer. You can access the scholarship application and the summer camp listing page by visiting the Growing Chatham newsletter. Chatham County 4-H Activity Day, a fun-filled event to showcase youth talents. On May 12th in Pittsburgh and May 19th in Siler City, the Chatham County Activity Day provided a platform for young people to demonstrate their skills and talents through presentations and visuals. Every participant received a green participation ribbon, and winners will be announced later in June. The successful individuals will advance to compete in the District Activity Day, scheduled for June 24th on the campus of North Carolina A&T State University.
I could tell you about me teaching fishing 4-H one year.
Tell me.
Oh, Richard Bradley called me one night and wondered if I would take a class of kids for 6 weeks in the summer once a week, teach them how to fish right over there at the pond.
Are you talking about the pond across the street from our office, Mr. Tom Reeves's farm?
The old pond on the backside.
Oh, they have another pond.
Yeah, and so I said, yeah. So I did for 6 weeks that summer, once a week at Reeves Farm. I had about 12, 15 kids, teach them different ways to fish, from live bait to artificial bait, to cane poles to spinning rods.
Do you remember taking me fishing, and instead of catching a fish, you caught my eye?
Yeah, when the bass let go and the lure come flying out of the water and slapped you in the face.
Yes, and it hit me in the eye. You caught my eye.
It was in the eyelid.
Yes, and that was my eye.
I know. But it came out.
Yeah, it came out. I'll never forget it. I was about 4 or 5 years old. And one thing that I did learn, never stand behind your dad when he's fishing, 'cause he might catch you. Now we're moving on. Here are updates from Matt Jones. What's the matter with my mater? Diagnosis and management of pests and diseases of tomatoes. This class will be held on July 5th, 2023 from 9 until 11:30 a.m. in person or from 6 to 7:30 p.m. online. Join Matt Jones, Extension Horticulture Agent, for a workshop and webinar on identifying and managing the most common pests, diseases, and physiological disorders of homegrown tomatoes. When feasible, organic management options will be emphasized. In the workshop, we welcome you to bring tomato samples for Master Gardener volunteers to help you identify and manage. Otherwise, the content of the lectures will be identical in the online and in-person versions. You can find the registration link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Pest, disease, and weed management in vegetable gardens. This is an Extension Gardener workshop and webinar coming up June 7th, 2023. From 9 until 11 a.m. in person or take it online from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Join Matt Jones, Extension Horticulture Agent, for a workshop and webinar on how to manage pests, diseases, and weeds. Participants will learn how to distinguish among different kinds of insect damage, how to reduce weed pressure, and how the Master Gardener volunteers can help you identify problems and make management recommendations with a focus on organic management strategies. To register for this workshop, you can find the links in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Planting basil, Extension Master Garden volunteers recommend these varieties. Are you eager to serve caprese salad with basil harvested from your own garden? Good news, now that the threat of frost is over, it's time to plant sweet basil. This easy-to-grow culinary herb can be harvested through the summer and fall. However, the harvest season can be cut short by a disease known as basil downy mildew. While fungicides available to home gardeners have little effect on controlling this disease, new basil downy mildew resistant varieties offer the promise of a season-long basil harvest. But how do these new disease-resistant varieties compare in taste and garden performance to Genovese, the tried and true favorite of cooks and gardeners that is unfortunately highly susceptible to basil downy mildew? Well, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to find out. Debbie Roos has been busy as a bee. Here's the latest updates from her. Emergency bumblebee nest relocation. A local beekeeper and flower grower recently contacted Sustainable Agriculture agent Debbie Roos for help locating a wild bumblebee nest that was inside her well house. The well pump had broken down and the nest was blocking access for the plumber. You can learn all about the bumblebee nest and view the photos of the nest relocation by accessing the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. North Carolina participates in the Great Southeastern Pollinator Census. We are very excited to share a new citizen science program for North Carolinians, the Great Southeast Pollinator Census. It was started in Georgia in 2019 and has since expanded into South Carolina and now into North Carolina. Unlike iNaturalist or Bumblebee Watch or Monarch Watch, there is a one-time contribution type program where citizen scientists of all ages and types observe pollinators once during a 2-day sampling period. This narrow structured window allows scientists to see a concentrated snapshot in time across a wide geographic area and makes it easy for anyone to participate. Mark your calendars for June 7th for our North Carolina-wide webinar about how you can participate in the 2023 Great Southeast Pollinator Census. Registration is required, but it is open to anyone in North Carolina. You can find that registration in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Southeast Bumblebee Atlas Field Day at Pollinator Paradise Garden. Please join us in a collaborative effort to track and conserve the bumblebees of the Southeast through a Southeast Bumblebee Atlas Field Day training on Friday, June 16th from 9 until 11:30 a.m. at Cooperative Extension's Pollinator Paradise Garden in Pittsburgh. The Southeast Bumblebee Atlas is a large-scale community science effort aimed at gathering the data needed to track and conserve southeastern bumblebees. The June 16th Field Day is an opportunity to connect with the Southeast Bumblebee Atlas volunteers and get some hands-on experience. Field Day participants will learn how to use an insect net, how to collect data according to project methods, and how to identify bumblebees. Anyone with an interest in bees and a desire to help them in a hands-on way is encouraged to attend. No prior experience is needed. For more details, just access the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. A Chatham County farmer wins a UNC award. The Chatham County Sustainable Agriculture agent Debbie Roos was so excited and not at all surprised when she learned that farmer C. Stanley of Green Heifer Farms had won the 2023 UNC Ackerman Center for Excellence in Sustainability Distinguished Entrepreneur Award. C was chosen for this award by the students at UNC Chapel Hill. It's been thrilling to watch C build her farm business in Liberty over the past few years. C grows tea and medicinal herbs and makes amazing premium teas. She is also a highly sought-after educator and consultant and a genius marketer. Congratulations, C. Your hard work is being recognized. You can visit her website by visiting the Growing Chatham newsletter and clicking on the link to greenheiferfarms.com. Early spring snapshots from Extension Pollinator Paradise Garden. Cooperative Extension's demonstration pollinator garden in Pittsburgh is looking great with over 60 species currently in bloom. Agriculture agent Debbie Roos has been busy leading garden tours and working in the garden with her volunteers. Debbie has posted some of her favorite snapshots from early spring in the garden on her Growing Small Farms website. So take a peek and come on out to visit the garden. North Carolina State University 2023 Organic Commodities Field Day. Registration is now open for the 2023 Organic Commodities Field Day on July 18th. This is an in-person event, and it will cover new research on organic sunflower production, including variety trials, pest management, nitrogen rate, and plant densities. We will also highlight new work on soil, organic fiber hemp production, and more. The event is located at the Cherry Research Farm in Goldsboro, North Carolina. We will kick the field day off at 8:30 a.m. and end with lunch at 12 p.m. For more details, just click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 623. Now, Dad, I remember you telling me at one time when you all were living in Snow Hill, your dad, my grandfather, Merritt Wilson, was principal down at Snow Hill at the primary school. And when y'all moved there, there was a lot where there was a hog farm or a pig area. They weren't using it anymore. The neighbors weren't. You were telling me about Diddy, which is what I called him, my granddad, turning that into a big garden spot. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh yeah. That's where he grew huge gardens. It was all a hog lot. And over the years, they had decided to move the hog lot, and it just left this field open. It was next door to us. So when he got there, he asked Uncle Woodrow, did he care if he put a garden on that? And Uncle Woodrow said, no, go ahead. Matter of fact, Uncle Woodrow let Daddy borrow the mule and the plow to tear it up. I can see Daddy following that mule. And then he used to mule almost all the time at Snow Hill.
No tractor?
Everybody did. I used to mule in tobacco. I used to drive the mule when they pulled the tobacco leaves and put them in the trailer. I drove the mule. They started using tractors the year after I left, 61 maybe. Some of them had tractors. Only the very well-to-do farmers had tractors. Everybody was still using the same mules they've been using for 20 years. And the mules were trained. The ones I drove in the tobacco, I didn't have to do nothing. Those mules knew exactly what to do. And the guys in the field, as they were moving along, pulling the leaves, the mule would keep watching them. And if they got too far ahead, the mule would go up by itself. He'd stop. And they'd put stuff into their trailer. They'd go up a little bit further ahead. The mule would go up. He'd stop. They'd put the leaves in there. And when we got to the end of the row, my favorite one was the one they called Old Gray. And I said, Gray, let's take it to the house. He took it right to the barn, pulled right in. They unhooked the trailer. I hooked another trailer empty, went back to the field and did it again. Mules, once they learn the routine, you don't even need nobody. That mule could have done that without me. They said the biggest thing was sometimes the mule, when he got to the end, they would cut too sharp and they'd run over the plants on the end of the row with the trailer. So my job was to make sure the mule was far enough outside the road before they turned so they wouldn't run over the plants.
Here are some updates from Christina Brett, livestock agent. Play-Doh and Repo. At our Chatham County Youth Livestock Team Practice, which was on a Monday, the team learned about the female reproductive system in livestock, including anatomy and functions. They also built models of the reproductive tract and identified each organ. This knowledge will be very helpful for their upcoming competitions this year. You can learn more about the reproductive system by clicking on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Save the date, July 25th, 2023, North Carolina State University Grazing Workshop, Small Ruminant Educational Unit in Raleigh, North Carolina. More information will be coming soon. Dr. Allen's 10 Tips for Summer Grazing Success. This article was written in 2020, but the information is still very valuable, so go check it out in the Growing Chatham newsletter. The 2023 FAMACHA certification workshops are coming soon. So register for the FAMACHA certification workshops coming to Rockingham County, Pitt County, Haywood County, and Richmond County. This workshop will be divided into 2 segments, a classroom education and hands-on learning. Both components are mandatory to satisfy requirements for FAMACHA certification. The registration fee is $25. You can learn more about the FAMACHA certification workshop by visiting the Growing Chatham newsletter. The Chatham County Youth Cattle Working Team participates in state youth cattle competition. The Chatham County Youth Cattle Working Team traveled to the state youth cattle working competition after placing third at regional contest in November of 2022. The contest was held at the Upper Mountain Research Station in Laurel Springs, North Carolina. The team worked through breed ID, tool ID, and feed ID as well as a beef cattle husbandry test before working 3 animals through a chute giving vaccines and dewormer. Our team placed 10th in the state and we're so very proud of them. Check out the video of the Chatham County Youth Team working the cattle in the Growing Chatham newsletter by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 623. Dr. Ginger Cunningham shares with us some forestry updates. Timber income and expenses, business or investor income tax reporting, what a tax professional needs to know. Coming up June 21st from 8:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. The cost is $150. This will be held at the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Wake County Center. Combining lecture, example problems, discussion, and questions, this half-day workshop is appropriate for all levels of experience. Discussion will address timber tax issues, including what is timber for income tax purposes, basis, reporting of income, business versus investor, expense deduction, business versus investor, a Form T, like-kind exchange, conservation easements, carbon credits, property tax considerations. No advanced preparation is required and there are no prerequisites for this course. Attend and you will receive a valuable workbook and detailed examples and problems, a certificate of completion from North Carolina State University, recommended 4 hours of CPE and CE credit. You can register online by visiting the Growing Chatham newsletter. Mini Fire Festival coming up Wednesday, June 7th at the Carl Alwyn Schenck Memorial Forest from 12:30 until 5 in Raleigh, North Carolina. So join in on a free family-friendly fire festival at Schenck Forest in Raleigh, North Carolina. Come learn about prescribed fire with a small demonstration burn and educational booths representing several organizations. Pizza is provided. To find out more, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter, where you can RSVP to attend this event. Coming up June 20th, 2023 in Fayetteville, North Carolina, a landowner resource workshop. Free resource event which will address the following topics: prescribed burn associations, taxes, NRCS Farm Bill, partners for fish and wildlife, Cooperative Extension and the Forest Development Program. Supper is provided. Please register by June 13th by calling or emailing Benji, BENJY.Strope, STROPE, at ncwildlife.org, or you may contact him at 910-874-5562. Space is limited, so don't wait. Go ahead and register today. Decline in first quarter 2023 timber prices. Dr. Robert Barden, North Carolina State University Forestry and Natural Resources, reports that North Carolina average standing timber prices decreased across all major pine and hardwood products in the first quarter of 2023 compared to the first quarter of 2022. Decline in prices was reflective of the impact on demand that was hindered by the economic conditions that negatively impact most forest product markets. You can read the full article in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Invasive insect activity is heating up. See them, report them. The warm weather seems to be here to stay. And with that, last year's new invasive insect arrivals are this year's pest to watch for. Both the spotted lanternfly and elm zigzag sawfly have recently emerged in North Carolina, and we need you on the lookout for them. You can read more about these invasive insects. Plus, you can check out the video in the Growing Chatham newsletter, Spotting the Spotted Lanternfly, provided by North Carolina State Extension. You can visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the links and the video by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 623. Family and Consumer Sciences agent Tara Gregory is super excited about this upcoming summer with the Kitchen Creators Cooking Camp starting in July. This summer, 11 to 14-year-old youth can attend 4 days packed with hands-on learning in the kitchen. The camp will teach campers about safe knife skills, food safety, cooking techniques, and baking. Camp days will take place on Wednesdays starting July 12th, running through August 2nd from 9:30 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. To learn more, you can just click on the flyer in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Healthy Home Spring Cleaning Tips for the Kitchen. June is National Healthy Homes Month and a great time to brush up on home cleaning tips and safety reminders. Most kitchens stay pretty busy with food storage, food prep, and cooking, meal cleanup, and eating. With all that use, our kitchens need regular cleaning to keep everyone safe. So take a look at the cleaning tips to keep your kitchen healthy and safe for all in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Learn about food at your library. Ensure you don't miss out on our last 2 available classes in June. Healthy Eating on a Budget is coming up on Thursday, June 15th at 10:30 a.m. at Wren Memorial Library in Siler City. Raising Good Eaters, Nutrition Strategies for Young Children is coming up Thursday, June 29th at 12:30 p.m. at the Chatham Community Library in Pittsburgh. For more details, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter. Chocolate chip cookies made with North Carolina wheat. Did you know that you can cook at home with North Carolina wheat? North Carolina farmers grow the type of wheat that is best for baking cookies. If you would like to make homemade chocolate chip cookies using North Carolina grown wheat, we have a recipe and video for you. Here, North Carolina State Family and Consumer Sciences agent Andrea Sherrill demonstrates how to make this recipe at home. You can even access the recipe for these wonderful chocolate chip cookies. So check out the video in the Growing Chatham newsletter and get baking using North Carolina wheat. Dad, you always like to cook.
Yeah.
You even cooked really good chocolate chip cookies. Did we ever use any North Carolina wheat?
Yeah. Dainty Biscuit Flour growing up was made over Franklinville. It's closed up now, but that's where it used to come from. We sell more Dainty Biscuit flour around here than any other kind. And then when the older people who owned it, it got to be the third generation, they didn't want it. And they just closed it up. Nobody would buy it. Yeah. So it closed up. It's sitting there right beside the river.
Do they grow it there? Or they just
grew it all over North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
That's where they processed it.
Brandy King, County Extension Administrative Assistant, shares with us When Your Income Drops series provided by the University of Georgia Extension. Last month, we started this series, When Your Income Drops. This month is part 2, What About Your Assets? An asset is something you own that has value. Now that you are living on less, it is tempting to cash in your assets to pay the bills and make ends meet. Before you start cashing in, think about the types of assets you have and the long-term implications of cashing them in. To read more, What About Your Assets? Just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter, where you can access the link. Are you ready for some agriculture history? Well, here we go. A double look at the Little Blue Book. A few years ago, my friend Jessie Farrington gifted me a box of old books, which led to a surprising discovery. As I sifted through the contents, I stumbled upon a small blue book that initially appeared to be a Bible. On closer inspection, however, it turned out to be a handbook for agricultural workers, dating back to 1963. While flipping through the pages, I realized that this book was an invaluable resource for extension agents, helping farmers with their problems. However, as I delved deeper, I also discovered some questionable content that is no longer acceptable today. Curious, I shared the book with my colleagues in Extension and the Farm Service Agency, and asked them to take a look and share their thoughts on video. After editing the footage and reviewing it, I found that our reactions were quite similar. Extension Agent Matt Jones shared how extension agents utilized these books until the 1990s. The video is a must-watch for a brief lesson in history and a good laugh. You won't want to miss Matt's reaction to the questionable content. This little blue book may have been published over 50 years ago, but it serves as a reminder of how much has changed and how far we have come in terms of social progress. I would like to extend my gratitude to Lori Edwards, Vanetta French, and Claudia Alston from the Farm Service Agency for being such good sports and permitting me to film their reactions. And many thanks to Matt Jones, Brandy King, Christina Britt, Sarah Sessoms, and Bobby McLean for sharing their valuable insights and thoughts on the video as well. So check out the video in the Growing Chatham newsletter by visiting go.ncsu.edu/growingchatham623. Here are some updates from our community partners. The 6th Annual Juneteenth Festival. CORE is hosting their 6th Annual Juneteenth Festival on Saturday, June 17th, from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. in Pittsboro. This year will be a celebration of Black arts with the headlining band Liquid Pleasure, a drumline, step show, Black Business Expo, lecture series, kids activities, food trucks, and more. You can find out more in the Growing Chatham newsletter. The Golston Public Library is thrilled to announce new programs and events during the month of June for the Chatham County community to enjoy. The following events are free and open to the public. Adult Summer Reading Bingo starts June 1st and runs through July 31st. The Golston Public Library will also be holding on June 2nd at 10:30 a.m. Learn about food at your library, Busting Nutrition Myths. Next, on June 4th at 10:30 a.m. is the Summer Reading Kickoff. And last of all, Friday Family Movie. The Golston Public Library will host summer movies on Fridays at 2 p.m. starting on June 9th and running until August 11th. You can learn more about upcoming events at the Golston Public Library by clicking on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Well, we've come to the end of Growing Chatham. I'd like to thank my dad, Johnny Wilson, for visiting today and sharing a few of his stories. And to all you dads out there, happy Father's Day. I'll be back next month with more updates, news, and educational programs. So join me next month on Growing Chatham. And don't forget to check out our new podcast and video, Growing Up Chatham. You can find it at the top of the Growing Chatham newsletter. Until then, take care, and I'll talk to you next month. I'm Tiffany Hancock for North Carolina Cooperative Extension, Chatham County Center.